and welcome to the CUInsight Network. My name is Robbie Young, and I am the Vice President of Strategic Growth here at CUInsight. It's my job on the show to have conversations with thought leaders who support the credit union community. We'll identify issues affecting credit unions and have a discussion on best practices so that we can all learn a little and improve for our credit union ecosystem. My guest today is Ben Brooks, President of Zogo. Ben, thank you so much for being here.
Robbie, so good to be here. Thanks so much for having us. We're huge fans of everything you guys do, so pumped to be a part of the larger conversation today.
Awesome. Well, having been at CUInsight for almost 10 years, I have been a big Zogo fan for a very long time, so I'm excited to have this conversation too.
I love it, and we appreciate that.
So most of us didn't grow up thinking we were going to work for credit unions. What did you want to be when you grew up?
That's an absolute true statement. You kind of fall into credit unions and then fall in love with them, right? For me, growing up, I grew up in a very blue-collar town. So like for us, we didn't have many heads of M&A or corporate development or VPs of financial institutions around our neighborhood, right? We had firefighters and we had your traditional like blue collar worker, which was always incredible. But I think for me, actually, like the first thing I knew I wanted to be growing up, which I'm not today as of yet, is a father. Like I always thought that role was so important in every single one of my friends' lives, my life, and everyone who has that aspect of that father figure or role model from that standpoint, right? So I'll say that was definitely number one. And then number two was actually a firefighter. I wanted to go and fight fires and protect people and my community.
Well, I am not a father either, but I am a mother, and I can tell you it's pretty cool.
I love it.
That's awesome. We do get like a lot of the astronaut, firefighter, engineer type conversations. Mine was a surgeon, which I think is a little kind of cryptic and weird for a child, but hey, here we are.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about your journey to your current role as president at Zogo?
Definitely. So it certainly wasn't linear by any means. The day I graduated college, I accepted an offer to go work at a 4-person startup. With that startup, what we were doing was a couple different things. We were doing human capital due diligence. So like going into companies during the M&A process, ensuring that the culture, the rhythm, and the roles made sense for whatever company was acquiring the other company, which was really fascinating. But more importantly, like what was more fascinating to me than the job itself was the entrepreneurial spirit, right? Being at a 4-person startup at 22 years old is eye-popping. It's exhilarating. And then it's also super fun to get that exposure at such a young age to balance sheets, to how this actually works, the sales process. And you're wearing so many different hats and being exposed to so many different facets of a business at such an early stage where you grow so much exponentially, which is very fun. And I think that has always stuck with me to this day of wanting to learn every crease and crevice of our business, whether that's at Zogo or wherever it may be. So that was job number one. Job number two was actually at the rebranded Arthur Andersen, now known as Andersen. So still that tax firm at the end of the day, which is now Andersen Consulting. And over there, I always found myself working under, whether it's a C-suite executive or a managing partner, really running the operations of the business, like really having a touch point and a pulse of the rhythm of the business and making sure things went seamlessly, whether it was a huge, long project initiative, or a new task that we were rolling out, or a new product launch that we were doing, or a new M&A project that we were working on. I was always kind of that right hand to keep things organized, but also the executor in making sure those things get done. So that was job number two. And then job number three brought me to a private equity firm called Peak Six, which if people don't know, Zogo is actually owned in under the Peak Six companies. So at Peak Six, I've got to work for a number of different brands, which I feel so lucky to be here in this environment due to mentors and due to these opportunities. But number one, I got to work for an esports company that Peak Six owns called Evil Geniuses. And I was supporting our CEO as her chief of staff, doing a number of different things, right? Like being at one, a Peak Six company, but two, also at an esports company, some days you are running the company all hands and running external meetings, whether they're sales pitches or whatnot. And then on the other hand, you could be taking out the trash, right? So it really gives you that agile exposure into each and every day. And then I've got to jump into our insurance businesses and now Zogo. And when I got the call to come and work for Zogo, I was so excited because it actually resonated with me. Now, I'm not the biggest esports person in the world, and I'm pretty much like video game disabled, but now this is something that actually hits home with me, right? Being from that blue collar town, growing up in a single parent household, all of these things really resonated with me on a deeper level of like, I want to help that next generation, but anyone who touches financial literacy or empowerment, right? I want to be the epicenter of why that person got better and also why our partners choose Zogo at the end of the day, because one, we're end user obsessed, but we're also there for our partners to be a voice and an advocate within their communities. So I guess that's a very long-winded way, Robbie, of saying how I became the president of Zogo.
I love it. And is essentially exactly what I asked for. So A+.
Perfect.
So tell me a little bit more about Zogo and where they add value for credit unions.
Yeah, great question. So Zogo's mission is really, really simple. We want to empower everyone to take control of their financial future. We like to say one lesson at a time because what we are and what we do. So what we are is we come to life in two separate ways. Number one is our mobile standalone app that most of our credit unions and community banks use on a daily basis. This is where we're really, really good at. So think of those super complex financial literacy terms, right? We'll go with dollar cost averaging, which if you're 18, you probably don't know what that means. And we want to teach you that. So what we've done is we gamified it. We've done it in a very digestible, bite-sized way so that when you come into our app, which is Zogo, if you want to go download it at the Apple Store today or Google Play Store, you go into our app and you can take dollar cost averaging and really get the whole emphasis of what that means, why it's important, why you should be coming back week over week. And again, it's gamified, it's bite-sized, it's digestible. And what we've also done is paired it with streaks and quizzes so that people are excited and they're so energized to come back that next day and learn something new. So dollar cost averaging is one perspective of it, but we're as simple as savings and budgeting, always up to trading stock options, right? Like we are all over the gambit for that 18-year-old beginner or 36-year-old beginner, always up to those people that are more advanced in their career and thinking about buying a home or thinking about taking out an auto loan. We make those concepts super, super simple and digestible and exciting to come back to each and every day. And what I will say about the Zogo app itself is it's only getting better. We brought in a head of product this year who's done some phenomenal things with and around the app, which is one, Money Minute. So what Money Minute is, I'm super obsessed. So I'm going to brag for a second because I'm a Money Minute maniac is what they call me. And it's news content. So your Yahoo Finance, your Wall Street Journal, all of those financial articles broken down into 3 bullet points so that you can get through those very seamlessly, very quick, and be I like to say, the most interesting person in the room because you have all of these different views. And then you develop your own on that way out, right? So again, bite-sized content there and your own views on the way out. And then what I will say the other way we come to life, because I mentioned 2 ways. One is our standalone app. And then 2 is our custom integration that we do with partners. So if any CUs do have their own standing app, we are actually able to custom integrate there to meet users right exactly where they want them, which is so exciting because you're looking at your bank account and your funds and your savings account, and maybe your investment accounts all in the same place where you're also getting that financial empowerment and gaining confidence around those savings, those budgets, and then everything else you're doing with your hard-earned cash.
That's awesome. I love to hear your excitement because as somebody in credit unions and having been in credit unions for a while, it doesn't make sense how you ended up over on this side of the world because it is an exciting place.
Totally.
So credit unions pride themselves on being member-centric, yet many still struggle to truly connect with the younger generation around financial education. From your perspective, what's the emotional gap people feel when it comes to money? And how does Zogo help credit unions close it?
Yeah, such an deep and such a really important question for so many different reasons. And number one, I'll say like this battle for deposits with credit unions, right? Like it's so important to actually close this gap. And I'll tell you why Zogo and what we're doing to help bridge the gap before for credit unions. And really it's down to the basics, right? Like think of Zogo as a vehicle connecting brand to that end user or member of that credit union. Like that is what we're the best at. There's nobody better than it, better than Zogo at the end of the day. Why? Because like, here's a proof point. How much free content is out there for anyone to go and read on a daily basis, right? Like you could chat GPT, financial literacy, you could go Google it and you'll find white papers after white papers around financial literacy about what you'll do and why you should do it. But we've incentivized that, right? We've gamified it. We've made it a true touch point for our credit unions and our partners and users to come into our app on a daily basis and complete the most important lessons that are relevant to them in those micro financial moments that have a macro impact. And those macro impacts are everlasting, right? So you learn that, hey, savings and budgeting, if I save $5 a day, on a weekly basis, instead of going to Starbucks every morning to start my day, I end up with X at the end of the year, right? And we're teaching those things to be passed down from not only generation to generation, but family households, friends, communities, right? The whole thing that credit unions really try to touch on is that community atmosphere. And then that's the emotional gap, right? Like where I think Zogo is super relevant and super powerful is breaking down the complex walls of money. Money can be scary, sure. Savings can be scary. Debt is horrifying, right? But we try to, again, deliver this in a way that meets people where they are, number one, on their phone. And then number two, we meet them in an approachable way. And then the best part about Zogo is we're going to reward you with gift cards today. So the more lessons you complete, the more Zogo points you earn. And with those Zogo points, you can redeem them for real-time gift cards, right? Those range from Starbucks to Roblox to Amazon, all the things that people are already spending money on. We're going to help you and motivate you to complete these lessons around financial literacy and doing just that.
So important, the mention of we are in our phones.
That's right.
Financial education has historically been dry and very one size fits all. Zogo has taken a really different approach. Can you walk us through how gamification really changes the way users engage and what kind of behavioral shifts you're seeing among credit union members?
Yeah, it's okay. So I love this question so much because I am such a data nerd myself. So gamification and like how it actually shifts behavior for us isn't just about prizes and the carrot at the end of the trail, right? Like that is super important. We know that some incentivization leads to those actions and engages those actions, which again are extremely important. But for us on the back end, we actually look at like the behavioral metrics of what motivates these people to engage. And then we act on that. Do we change our content? Do we simplify it? Do we make things more seamless? Do we give immediate rewards? Do we have to unlock a certain level of Zogo points and Zogo coins to then receive these rewards, right? This is our whole emphasis on like the way we structure our modules and lessons in our app, but then in the same vein, how we actually motivate that end user to do it, right? So we're constantly learning every week on what people are engaging with, where we're losing them, why we're losing them, and then what can we be doing better for not only our end users, but our partners on a daily basis to try to get them to whatever it is that we're looking for them to engage in. Again, savings and budgeting, dollar cost averaging, you name it.
That's awesome. And I respect that even though you don't find yourself as much of a gamer, you truly understand that gamification is a very powerful tool.
That is one thing I can get behind, yes.
So today's youth are facing financial complexity earlier than ever. What's missing from traditional financial education models? And how is Zogo helping credit unions to meet these with new things and very head on?
Yeah, no doubt. Like think about the things that our young people endure today. Credit decisions, sure, like student debt, really big time. And then investing apps. It's everywhere. And even think about like the DraftKings and the FanDuels out there, which are scary at the end of the day, because if people don't understand them, one, like two things are going to happen. One, they're going to go into debt, or they're going to run up a credit card and then not be able to pay that off, right? Or number two, they're not going to use those things. So the traditional financial education, again, like you can go find a ton of free and relevant content to you, but it's probably going to be in white paper, boring form that people aren't necessarily reading. So we need to meet these credit union members where they're at today. And again, that's one, on their phone, but in the way they like to learn. So now think of Zogo as like coming at you directly as a Instagram feed or a social media feed, where it's easy, it's seamless, it's fun, and it's engaging. And there's some endorphins going on back and forth between that learner and that content to make it an even better experience on both ends. I think that is the true momentum that changes everything between a credit union and their member, and then of course a Zogo and our users.
We're in a moment where trust in financial institutions is being tested. How can credit unions rebuild that trust? And why do you believe education and not just products is the key to regaining the relevance?
Yeah, such a great question, Robbie. And like, even think about the me's and the you's of the world who just expect more from whatever business or vendor that we're using, right? We are always pushing for more and more at a level of true testament. And my whole point of this is like, trust isn't always built on pushing products in front of people, but it's by showing up when people need it, right? And I think those are the moments that people want to learn the most, is when something negative happens or something happens that they're not aware of. You crashed your car. Great. How do I file an insurance claim? I've just gone into debt, or I've overdrafted my account. What do I do next? Right? So this is where these credit unions, specifically with Zogo, can show up in these moments that people are needing them the most, and the credit union's not asking for something in return. That's when education matters most to us. And that's the most important time that we can obviously empower those people and help them navigate whatever situation they are in. And that will keep them coming back with the loyalty play.
So as you look into that proverbial crystal ball, which I think gets a little stranger as we continue on through all of our unprecedented times, what is Zogo's focus on the road ahead?
Yeah, love this question. We are doing so many exciting things with not only our product, but internally too. We're just getting smarter and better around the way we do things internally. But externally, what that means for our partners is you guys get a better product. And that means the end user obsession only comes to life more and more through our app. So, some sneak peeks for us, like you can expect more quizzes, potentially some more games, maybe some paper trading and paper aspects of, hey, you just learned this, now go take an action. So again, really exciting things from the product side that I don't want to spill all the beans, but expect people to be spending some more time in there, being more empowered, and then obviously increasing their financial wellness holistically.
Ooh, I love that little sneak peek. Could I be trading pineapples like Pokemon? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, there you go. Although we have asked the plant.
Yeah, I saw. I did think he was very cute, but I understand the glow up.
Yeah, totally. It's just, we're engaging the brand a little bit more and diving deeper into our Zogo coins.
I like it. So to wrap up the show, I like to have some fun with some rapid fire questions and really let our listeners get to know you.
Totally.
So the questions are rapid, but your answers certainly don't have to be. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
This is when like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music, like dun dun dun. I'll have to see if they can put that in post-production. So who is someone in your life that you would say is a great leader? And what really makes them great?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Great question. So I'm actually going to shout out the moms here. So my mother and then my mother-in-law, and let's start with my mom. Pretty much a relentless work culture, right? Somehow she raised 3 kids, packed lunches, worked a full-time job, and was at every single sporting event, activity, and whatnot. So huge, great leader in my life, and then never has asked us for anything in return other than showing up for, holiday dinners. So like huge shout out to that. And then my mother-in-law, who has just been a silent, zero ego person that did all the work without needing asking to or without needing credit her entire life and is just a brilliant person to be around. So two great leaders who I learned from by an example every single day.
Shout out to Ben's mom and Ben's mother-in-law. I like the mother-in-law points there too. Those are never too bad to have.
Right.
So if you're going to splurge on something and you want to treat yourself, what might you invest in a little bit?
Yeah, great question. So for me, I always do push people to reap the rewards of their hard work, right? Everybody works really, really hard. Hopefully they say that and hopefully they think that. And they should reward themselves with something. For me, I like to do experiences, right? I like to travel, and that doesn't need to be crazy places like Thailand or anything like that. For me, it can be as simple as going to a campfire or a camp resort with the people that bring out that great energy in me. And I'm happy to spend money on that. And I never have any regret or buyer's regret because of those things.
I like it. I like the no regrets part too. I think that's super important to celebrate hard work. So if you're going to travel for work or other, what's one city that you're most excited to visit, whether that be going to a conference, client visit, anything like that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Great question. So for work, I do have to say it's Austin, Texas. The energy, the food, the conversations that I get to have here with the Zogo people, it is absolutely incredible. Now, from a personal perspective, the one place I love to travel, which is a huge shout out, it's called the Lake House in Canandaigua, New York, upstate New York. You go there and get some R&R. It is the best money ever spent and the most elegant vacation that you can have on one of the most beautiful Finger Lakes in the world.
That's awesome. I have only had the privilege to go to upstate New York once, but I was just blown away by how beautiful it was. So I'll have to put that one on my list too. What is a book that you think everyone should read?
This is probably such a generic answer, but I'm going to go with Atomic Habits by James Clear. Like for me, it was such a masterclass in like behavioral change, the way I looked at myself, the way I talk to people. I truly, from that book, like treat every conversation I'm in, whether it's with my direct team that's under me or people that are in external businesses that I talk to as an interview. It's like, this is my first impression and I want to leave an everlasting one. And what are the best things possible that I can do to leave this person with a really good and awesome experience and palette for me on our next conversation.
That says a lot about a book if everybody is saying that it's a good one to read. So kudos.
That's so true, Robbie.
What is your best hack for creating balance and integration between your work life and your life?
Yeah, great question. There's people like Jeff Bezos and now Andy Jassy who really embrace like the work-life cycle. I would say for me, like you have to know what recharges you, right? Like for me, it is building, it's talking with my team members here, whether it's my head of marketing, my head of sales, or my head of product around innovation to inspiration to integration, right? And like taking ideas and bringing them to life. Like that is super energizing for me in the workplace right now. Out of office, like what's energizing to me is spending some quality time with my wife and like figuring out, whether that's going for a walk or figuring out what we want for breakfast. Like those are the things that recharge me so that I am running back to Monday morning just as excited as I was when I left on Friday.
Ooh, I like that because I tell people a lot that my hot take is there's not really balance because a lot of things can be that and my balance could look different hour by hour, really.
Absolutely. You nailed it.
So we'll be sure to link to everything you talked about today in the show notes. So my last question for you is really, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share or asks of our listeners?
Yeah, I think for, Zogo, the Zogo perspective, like in these credit unions that are amazing and do such good work all across the US is like, if you're listening to this and you're serious about engaging not even the next generation, but all generations with financial literacy and getting your members more engaged or getting potential members more engaged, ask yourself like right now, is what you're doing working? Are members acting on it? And if not, like we're here to help make that real and we're helped to make that fun and engaging for everybody on both sides. And user obsessed, but partner focused is what we like to say.
Well, I won't mince any words there when I tell you I am a Zogo cheerleader. I've met a lot of people who've maybe never seen me before or talked to me once before, and they say like, "Oh, education." I'm like, "Have you heard of Zogo?" So I'll just start, invoicing you for my commissions. It'll be no
There
big
you go.
Well, thank you so much, Ben, for being on the show. Stay well, and thanks to all of our listeners today for tuning in to the CUInsight Network. We will be back again next time.
Amazing. Thanks so much for having me, Robbie.